Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have the wonderful spring of Mickey Mouse. And not just Mickey Mouse, but Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Daisy. No Pluto, though, which is really strange because everybody else appears in this. I might have looked away for a half second and maybe Pluto showed up, but when you've got an animated short, it's 23 minutes long, okay? So it's like a single episode of the wonderful world of Disney. It's technically listed as season 2 episode 2, but it's its own thing because there's 4 different seasonal episodes they created, and they each contain 3 stories in them, and they're not like cut off and have their own credits and everything else. One flows right into the other, and they're all narrated by Keith David. So, yeah, this is from 2022, so this is brand new. This is to give you an idea. Oh, I don't want to get into it too much. I don't want to spoil too much, but okay, 3 stories, 3 different focuses. The very first one is completely no dialogue except for Keith David doing the narration, and it's our heroes as newborn flowers or creatures in the spring, and we get to see what happens when the sun comes out and how things can be transformed by rebirth and everything else. And the sun brings them forth, and the sun looks like Dopey from, the Seven Dwarfs. And he actually recurs throughout all 3 stories in this. He's one of the few things beyond our main characters. He's consistent throughout, and he causes a little bit of trouble for our gang. That's really all I can say about that one. That one's pretty straightforward. It's all visceral. It's no dialogue. It's just craziness. And I've said this before with this kind of series, this newer animation. It's got that Karofsky kind of feel to it. Yeah, if you know what I'm talking about. It's that Ren and Stimpy type of animation feel, and I really probably shouldn't be attributing it to just him, because a lot of people worked on that show, and I apologize if anybody wants to correct me and clarifying the style. Please do, absolutely. Comments, I appreciate those that will set me right in that, but it's got that very cartoony, but then like manic, very, manic. Manic, I think manic is the word. It's got that feel, and it can go to extremes when it's in its presentation. So it's kind of super fun, and it's the kind of thing I haven't seen in like 25 years or so. It's pretty cool. And of course, all the voices are back. We got Tress MacNeille, and she's Daisy, and Bill Farmer's Goofy, and Tony Anselmo is, I have to say his name right, Tony Anselmo is Donald Duck, and Dianopoulos, Chris, oh, you're so Greek, Diamanopoulos. I've seen him more than I've heard him. He plays Mickey, and Minnie is played by Katie Robrock, and there are other voices in this you might recognize, but there's so many faces. I'm going to get to that again in a moment. The second story deals with Minnie and Mickey. Of course, they're a little bit in love, and they're showing their affection toward each other, and they decide to plant a garden. He keeps giving her flowers, and it causes chaos in the neighborhood when not only does Donald get attacked by bees, Goofy, he has a problem with pollen. Yeah, he's allergic. And if you want to see Goofy allergic to anything, well, this is your chance, because it is not pretty. It almost devastates the world to the degree that he starts sneezing. And he's looking for any excuse just to make it stop. Chip and Dale even get a share of some of the pollen madness. Very funny. But my favorite of the 3, and maybe my favorite of anything I've seen in this new Mickey style animation, is the third story, which features a little bit of spring cleaning between Mickey and Minnie. Minnie, of course, comes over to Mickey's house to help him out, and she's like, we're gonna get rid of some stuff. And it turns out Mickey's a hoarder. He's a He is an extreme hoarder. So when she backs up a truck that just has a tube that runs into it from the second floor where they can just dump stuff into it, well, Mickey's not having that. He wants to hold on to everything. And every bit of nostalgia that's ever come out of Disney over the last 100 years, almost 100 years in 2022, is presented in this. Anything Disney related even makes an appearance in this. Okay, not everything, but an awful lot. This is the kind of thing you can go through frame by frame and pick out. You would end up with hundreds, if not more, hundreds of little Easter eggs buried throughout this piece. If you're a Disney nut, nostalgic out the wazoo, and you know every little thing about Mickey and Disney and Disneyland even, this is the bit for you. Because I'm gonna spoil a few little things here. If you're worried about spoilers, about being, then stop watching, I guess. But please don't. This one tells us the story of Mickey's first churro. Yes, from Disneyland, and in fact, he got it at the exact spot. One of the great things about this, because these are cartoons made by people who work at Disney, I actually have bought a churro from the exact cart that Mickey bought his first churro at. I know the fact that they positioned that churro stand right in front to the right of the castle when you're looking at it in Disneyland. I'm like, I bought churros there so many times. So Mickey bought his first churro as a child, and that was 1955, probably. The only person I don't think that shows up in this is Walt. I don't know. Maybe if he does, it's a split second. He's collected a lot over the years. Not just kept his first churro in a glass case rotting. It's green, it's gross, and she wants it out of there. And that is kind of the center of everything he's trying to rescue, but there's so much more. Memories from his past, references to specific cartoons he was in, early cartoons you will recognize in this. Different costumes he wore in those different things, incarnations of him, let's just say, appear in this. Other souvenirs from the parks. I'm overwhelmed at thinking about this, but let's just say this is so modern. Even Grogu, yes, Baby Yoda, makes an appearance in this as a collectible that is in a pile. R2D2, Grogu, Kermit the Frog. There's even a robot from the black hole, Bob. I'm not sure if it's Bob or if it's Vincent. I can't really tell. It's just part of the mishmash of garbage that Mickey has collected over the years. Again, I'm only scratching the surface of all the little Easter eggs throughout this. I should make a video that is just about the Easter eggs in just this episode. It's that story in that episode. It's that freaking great. So I highly recommend this to people who, one, if you've ridden, I haven't ridden it yet, but the new, it's been around in Disney World for a while, but Disneyland just got this last month, or ish, yeah, not that last month, but we're now in March, so yeah, so January. I'm still getting used to this. So hey, welcome to March. They got the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad, and that uses this animation style. So it's if you're a fan of that, you should be watching all this wonderful world of Mickey stuff, all these spring, summer, winter, fall episodes, and just go crazy with it. I mean, it's a lot of stuff for adults and a lot of stuff for kids, but it's some pretty fantastic animation, in my opinion. Hey, it doesn't mean that it's has to replace the old animation. No, it's not saying, oh, let's ignore the old stuff. No, not at all. In fact, this one celebrates a lot of the old animation. It celebrates a lot of the old characters. It throws back to so much. It's on the tip of my brain. I keep wanting to say all the other things that appear in it, but I think you should watch it to find out yourself. It's worth it. So, yeah. Give it a shot. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
173.
173. What do we got? What do we got? 173. All right. We're back to documentary land. As far as I can tell, it may not be sharks, but it's definitely ocean-based. Unless this is really deceptive in its title. I have no idea, but we're going to find out. 173 is Giants of the Deep Blue. Giants of the Deep Blue. Sea monsters? Whales? We'll see. Giants of the Deep Blue in the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow for that.